Aseem Roy, the head of international operations, country head, Asia Pacific and Japan for Wipro. This is a massive organization, 175,000 or so employees throughout the world. And Aseem's company in Cebu is this region's largest private sector employer with 7,000 employees in the city. So really a pleasure to have Aseem. And I'm just so pleased that he's been so busy working away, hiring so many people in Cebu. So please welcome a very nice fellow who we really think highly of, Aseem Roy, the head of international operations of Wipro. Glad to have you, Aseem.
Hey, thank you, Richard. Thank you for that flattering introduction. Nice to see you. I think it's been some time, but thankfully, we have been connected in the virtual world and more so. So very excited about the Asia CEO Forum, and it's coming to Cebu. So happy to be part of this forum every time when given an opportunity. Thank you so much. All right. So, I think we have a large audience out here, and we are all looking forward to, sharing our experiences. So guys, very good morning, good afternoon, depending on the time zone that you are in. I'm Aseem Roy. I manage the country operations for Wipro in the Philippines and the larger Asia Pacific region as well. And I'm proudly based out of Cebu, a place which I now call home. So thanks again, Asia CEO Forum Cebu, for this wonderful opportunity for us to share our experiences, our capabilities, and plans for Cebu and Philippines in general. All right. So I have a presentation. I'll just take you through this presentation. Hope you find it useful. Okay. So before I get into Cebu, I thought, we'll take you through what Wipro is all about. So we are a global leading IT services, consulting, and business processes services company with an annual revenue of almost $8.13 billion, almost 200,000 employees. To add up to Richard's numbers, we have actually grown during the pandemic across the globe. So we are close to 200,000 right now, with presence in almost 66 countries. So that's not just about Wipro. What is unique about Wipro is our focus towards ethics and the purpose. So what you see, 8 years in a row, Wipro has been rated the most ethical company in the IT BPO services space. 8 years. And that is by the Ethisphere Institute. What is also unique is our commitment to a purpose and community service. So almost 67% of Wipro's economic wealth is irrevocably committed to philanthropic initiatives. So that means that every 100 peso that we earn, out of that 67 peso is just left for philanthropic initiatives. So that's the kind of purpose that we have committed our wealth through. So that's on Wipro. All right, so this is our story in the Philippines, and I'll start by saying that, we started our operations way back in 2007, 2008. We are the exception to the rule, where most of the companies would first set up their operations in Manila NCR and then come to a provincial city. I think even 13 years back, we had a sense of Manila being extremely crowded, congested, saturated, and we thought that it's prudent to go to a provincial city which has great talent, great infrastructure, great connectivity that includes international airports and other landmark areas and infrastructure that you can think of. So we started our operations way back in 2007 and 2008 in Cebu. Then gradually we extended as a BCP option or a backups option in Manila. That's in 2010. So it's a very different story from what usually the other companies do. Thankfully, that strategy has paid off. Today, we are among the largest India headquartered companies in the country. And proudly so, we are the largest PESA affiliated, accredited employer in Cebu, employing almost 7,000 employees. So our total headcount is around 8,500, out of which around 7,000 are right now in Cebu, and we are growing. So that also means that, we have contributed to the national development of build by investing in real estate, investing in lease, investing in other services to help further strengthen the economy with almost $40 million to $50 million kind of investment that has gone through. We have an entity, it's called Wipro Philippines Inc., under which we operate. Now, this is very interesting because I would like to bring it up. Wipro Limited, which is the IT arm of the Wipro conglomerate, operates under Wipro Philippines Inc. in Philippines, and to some of you may not be familiar, we are also into the glamour business. So there's an organization called Splash. If I'm sure the ladies out there on this forum would know what Splash is all about. Wipro acquired Splash last year, last year, that is in 2019. So Splash is also part of the Wipro conglomerate. It's more like a soap to software story where we are into cosmetics, personal care, and now into IT business. But I'll keep our focus on IT. That's IT and the BPO. So that's where we are. We have 5 delivery centers. Like you can see that 3 major delivery centers in Cebu, 2 delivery centers in Manila. Some of the key things that we are extremely proud of, we are one of the happiest geographies within our Wipro framework, or Wipro network of almost 66 countries. Highly localized workforce, ensuring that local employment is prioritized at all point of time. High on gender diversity. Diversity and inclusivity is one of the key charters of our organization, and we are extremely focused on that. And something that we are extremely proud of, and I keep on repeating it, is our commitment to provincial growth. It's build, all happening in our regional and our provincial city, and I think that's something that we will continue to do, like as we progress. And not just, and this regional growth has got nothing to do with the kind of customers that we support. So we support almost 50 customers out of our 2 delivery centers in Cebu and Manila, out of which almost 30 are actually in Cebu, and these are all global companies, which include Fortune 500 kind of customers that we support out of Cebu. So that's something that has worked wonders for us. And even during this pandemic, out of the logos that you see, almost 7 to 8 logos that we transitioned, out of which almost 5 logos we transitioned in Cebu, and that's right through the pandemic. So I think that's the kind of strength, that's the kind of synergy, that's the kind of resilience I have seen in the city, and we have been progressing pretty well. We are also part of many organizations at the same time, but specific to Cebu, we are a board of trustees, and I personally manage the portfolio of international relations for Cebu IT BPO organization, a premier organization that is here to support and promote IT BPO industry and employment across the region and across the province. So that's a long introduction of our Philippines presence. I'll keep it brief as far as Cebu is concerned. Like I said, that we support all dominant verticals that includes telecom, payers and provider, transportation, new age media, social media customers, dominant services. We are not limited to only BPO. We also do IT help desk. MDPS is nothing but medical devices. In fact, this is very interesting. Wipro Cebu employs more nurses than any hospital in Cebu. So that's the kind of, and that also becomes a force multiplier for us in terms of pandemic. At times, we can extend some support to communities, and that's something that we are exceptionally proud of. Then how we have positioned Cebu. Positioned, like I mentioned, that it's a strategic delivery center. It's our mothership, or should I say, it's the large aircraft carrier that we have that, to launch our operations in the region. So it's our biggest center, not just in Philippines, but also in the Asia Pacific, in the Southeast Asian region. So we do bring in that synergy of globalization of workforce, Filipino colleagues getting an opportunity to work outside the country as well. That's the kind of opportunities that kind of this kind of setup brings in. We are pretty much aligned with the roadmap 2022. I know there has been some changes in it, but the focus on regional growth has definitely been there, and we are aligned ourselves to the roadmap 2022 that has been published long time. And in country BCP, and I think anybody will agree, the kind of typhoons, hurricanes, the earthquakes, and volcanic eruption that happen up north is not that much, prevalent in Cebu. So it has been extremely stable BCP location. So these are a few factors that I think has gone down very well with our customers as well. And I think we continue to stay bullish on our presence and our dominance in this region, and we continue to stay committed. So like I said, there are 7,000 employees, almost 7,000 seats, and we plan to grow. I don't want to give a number at this point of time, but I think we have grown exponentially in the last 3 years, and we continue to stay focused and stay positive about that kind of growth in the months and the years to come. All right. So how was the year 2020, 2021 for us? So without a doubt, I think it was a difficult period and a phase for everybody. But what we realized that our people, our employees are our biggest assets, and we invested heavily on them, to ensure that we are also taking care of the customers. The priority was that how do we manage the pandemic in general? And I think the big force multiplier, the moment things, there was a ECQ or there was MECQ and people had to work from home, I think we focused on our biggest asset, that is people. So we ensure that our employees are well taken care of in terms of logistics, financial health, mental well-being, physical well-being, providing them the health cover, providing with the leaves, and now even providing them for the vaccinations. So that's the kind of strategy, that's the kind of commitment that we have shown for our employees. And in fact, it's not just limited to that. Apart from providing these facilities to our employees, which is fundamental for us to deliver on a great customer experience and take care of the customer, we are also ensured that we have taken some unprecedented steps, which is unique for any company. This year, we provided the first salary hike for our employees in the month of January. This is for almost 85% of our employees. And in an unprecedented step, within the 9 months, this coming September, 85% of our employees would again be getting a salary hike. So if we have grown globally, if we have grown in the country, if we have grown in the city, we have also ensured that the part of that wealth is shared with our employees, and the part of that wealth is shared with the community. So that's the kind of commitment we have shown, and we plan to continue in the months and years to come. So what has that resulted? That has resulted in some exponential growth. When the whole industry was shrinking, we were able to carry on some bold transitions, doing it remotely, doing it work from home. Some of this was partly from office, partly from workspaces. Some folks were working for dormitories, hotels. If you look at it, what really happened, it's not that we didn't have our tough times. I think we saw some ramp downs in our travel and transport accounts. But at the same time, while we shrunk a bit in the travel and transport account, we ensured that not even a single job is lost. We redeployed almost 100% of workforce, ensuring that there are zero layoffs. At the same time, we seized on the opportunities that came our way in these crises. We were able to, as I speak, by this August end, we would have grown by almost 1,000 to 1,300 employees on our base head count, out of which some of this growth is coming from the redeployment that we have done from some of our impacted accounts. But in nutshell, what I want to say is that we have almost grown by 700, 800 FT. So that's almost 10% growth in Cebu itself. That's the kind of growth that we have seen, and we continue to stay bullish on our prospects in the region, in prospects in the city, and continue to bring more wealth and goodness for the region in general, and sharing that wealth and prosperity and opportunities with our larger employees and the folks in the province. So that's our proof of putting on how we manage it. So while we progress, I think we just didn't limit it to our employees and to our customers. We also took care of our communities around us. So when the lockdown happened, there were unprecedented challenges. There were no PPEs, there were no RT-PCR machines. There were lockdowns happening in communities and barangays around us. So we partnered with different industry bodies that included, some of the chambers that we are part of, Indian Embassy that we are part of, in a think tank that we operate under. So we procured PPE kits for our frontline workers, both in Cebu and Manila. We work very closely with our industry partners to contribute in the import of RT-PCR machine that was much needed last year when the pandemic started. Those of you who are familiar with Cebu, when the barangay Luz was about to go into lockdown, we partnered with our CIBO, which is our leading organization here, to provide for food stock and essential hygiene kits to the barangay Luz, which was under lockdown. So those are the kind of initiatives that we took in the city and the region to share and take care of them. This is a small, appreciation from DG Plaza and from PEZA. We partnered with PEZA to move almost 700 to 800 standard employees, individuals in the province or the region. We shuttled buses, provided them the support so that they can get home. So these are some of those key landmark initiatives that we carried out in the region for the year 2020. Okay, so I spoke at length about what we did for Wipro and how it has helped us, grow. A part of this, I will just also focus on Cebu, like this forum addresses the larger group. So why Cebu? And like I said, in my extended role as a trustee of CIBO, I also manage the portfolio of international relations for Cebu or the CIBO. It's a premier organization with a dynamic leadership responsible for promoting promoting IT BPO industry and obviously employment in the province of Cebu. So what we saw out here in Cebu, the pandemic was a litmus test of what the city and the province had to contribute to the regional and national recovery, and how we coped with adapting to the new normal. So now with 1 year into the stable management of pandemic, almost for 1 year, I would say that we had been into an MGC cube. And we saw a net increase of almost 15 to 20,000 new jobs in IT BPM sector. There was vast availability of grade A real estate and many ambitious telco, infra, and talent development projects which are in progress. So we are fairly confident that all this has actually helped accelerate Cebu's capability in matching up with the emerging global trends, and and possibly it will catapult the city back into among the top digital destinations. So that has been one key landmark initiative that I see, or trend that we have seen, apart from the vast talent pool that you see on the screen that is available out there. As a company with with regional headquarters in Cebu, we are extremely proud of the fact that Cebu's IT BPM industry has emerged even more stronger and resilient in managing this shift. So what we have done, we too at Wipro are extremely confident of Cebu's ability or capability to help support disruptive growth and bring more progress to this region. So that's my 2 cents on what Cebu has the potential and what Cebu can do. And I'm sure our audiences who are beyond the IT BPM sector also would kind of agree the kind of experience that we had in Cebu so far. So my next section is more about, talking about our provision, again, some awards and recognition that we have brought to the city. So I'll say that saying that our commitment to provincial growth, sustainability and regional prosperity has been best manifested by the multiple awards at prestigious forums, including ASEAN Awards, Asia CEO Awards, and ICT Awards, just to name a few. And I'll say very recently, when I'll talk about, these are some of the glimpses that you can see. This was the award that we got during the President of India's visit to Manila in 2019, something that we are extremely proud of. And this was again about bringing regional prosperity to provincial part of the country. That was one key part of the selection criteria, bringing a sustainable development. That was one key part of the criteria. Then we have our very own Asia CEO Awards. Richard and Rebecca, I think they very well know what we do, and I think we have been consistent recipient of multiple awards in the Asia CEO Awards. Again, thank you so much. I think it's something that's very close to us. I'd personally been associated for long, so we value this partnership. Like somebody said, this is the Oscars of Philippines. So we like to be in the Oscars every time, and we look forward for those days when we can be back on the stages. So thank you, Richard. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Asia CEO. Okay. Now this one is from the ICT Awards. So at the ICT Awards, a very recently concluded ICT Awards, we were awarded the best company outside the NCR region for third time in a row. So that is 2019, 20, 21. And by doing so, we have now entered the ICT Awards Hall of Fame. It's again a very, very prestigious landmark for us, and we are extremely proud. It's not just for us, it's for the entire region, the entire city that has kind of contributed to that health. In fact, I'll say the honors that we bring to Cebu are a collective outcome of the efforts put in by all of us. Everybody here in Cebu who is part of the business community, part of the local community, and staff, academe who has supported us right throughout this golden decade, I would say. And we firmly believe, on a final note, I'll say we firmly believe, through this pandemic, we are in this together. So we will heal as one, and we will continue to win as one. So on that note, thank you, Cebu. Thank you, Asia CEO, Cebu 2021 for this opportunity, and thanks again. Stay safe.